Hi everyone, James here. I've put a lot of hours into improving the endgame Lightning Sorcerer experience that I'd like to share this fully optimized Lightning Endgame build. It has extremely high burst damage that one-shot elite, great visuals of damage numbers all over the screen, and similar to Ice Shard single target damage that takes down bosses in 10 seconds. It is a Lightning God mode, so I named it Thor. In this video, I will cover the synergy breakdown, how to enjoy this build, gears with aspects, stats, priority, skills, and Paragon Board. Let's start with the synergy breakdown. The synergy is a bit complicated, but I want to spend some time explaining the numbers. If you are not into numbers, skip to the next section on how to enjoy this build directly. So let's start with the most simple case, that the default crit damage is plus 50%. With all my gears, I got 129.5% crit damage and 87% lightning crit damage. This leads to 216.5% crit damage. Another plus 93.1% crit damage from destruction glyph and 24% from germs. This makes it 333.6% crit damage. With Firebolt in enchantment giving burning effects, devouring blaze, and immobilize from flame shield, it is plus 150% multiplicative crit damage. That makes it 834% crit damage. With the elementalist aspect, we can treat the first chain lightning cast to be nearly 100% crit chance. This makes it 834% damage instead of crit damage. With the control aspect at amulet, we have 53 damage increase for each state. We will apply all 3 states in 1 second. This makes it nearly 3000% damage. With the tactician glyph, casting 3 defensive skills gives it 1.33 times damage boost. This makes it nearly 4000% damage. With the control glyph, there is another 3 multiplicative 20% damage boost. This makes it nearly 7000% damage. Hoarfrost gives it another 18% damage boost. This makes it 8000% damage. I have 600 damage 2 bucket, 250% vulnerable damage bucket, and 170% intelligence bucket. This makes it 210,000% damage. That's how the 1 million damage numbers are created, and it one-shots every elite. Just one note, this is only one chain from the chain lightning, and it has 5 chains. The second big synergy is attack speed. I put ball lightning into enchantment so that every crit has up to 25% to trigger a static ball lightning. Since enemies are crowd controlled, static ball lightning is super good for continuously delivering high AoE damage. There's also a concept of lucky hit chance. Check the info card for more details on lucky hit chance. So ball lightning gets double benefits from attack speed, and we get 25% from accelerating aspect, 25% from out, and 15% from gloves. This gives 65% more attack speed and 130% ball lightning damage tick rate. That's why there are so many numbers on screen popping like a spring, which to me is super enjoyable to watch. It is pretty easy to get all the synergies I've mentioned above. The only thing you need to do is teleport to the center of the enemies, press Frost Nova and Flame Shield, spam Chain Lightning, and you will see the greatest number ever that one-shot elites. This combo is designed for elites, and you don't even need to use out. For normal enemies, choose one of the 3 and spam Chain Lightning is good enough. Out is great to use when all 3 skills are on cooldown and there is a large group of enemies. Then delete all of them. For mana, usually there won't be a mana issue as both Chain Lightning and Ball Lightning can generate Crackling Energy, and Crackling Energy generates 12 mana. We will also use the Prodigy's aspect that all 4 of our cooldown skills will generate up to 25 mana. For gears, I will go through them one by one. For Helm, get the Might aspect for 20% damage reduction. It is interchangeable with pants. Stat priority is maximum life, total armor, cooldown reduction, and lucky hit chance with an active barrier. This build has almost full-time barrier uptime, as each cooldown skill will generate a 30% maximum life as barrier through protection. For chest, we will use Raiment of the Infinite that adds pulling and stun to teleport for a great fight initiating. For gloves, get the accelerating aspect. It is interchangeable with a ring. Stats priority is plus 4 chain lightning, critical chance, critical damage, and attack speed. For pants, get the disobedience aspect to improve armor for greater survivability. It is interchangeable with helmet. Stats priority is maximum life, damage reduction from close or distant enemy, total armor, and plus 4 ball lightning. One extra note is that it is the best when the potion grants barrier when injured. For boots, Get the Binding Embers for immobilizing enemies through Flame Shield. Stats priority is movement speed, plus 4 Frost Nova to reduce its cooldown as it is our only source of vulnerability, plus 3 or 4 Flame Shield. It saves skill points on Flame Shield where we can put the point to improve our DPS, and mana cost reduction or stats. For weapon, get a two-handed weapon and use a conceded aspect as mentioned earlier. We have roughly 100% barrier uptime. Stats priorities intelligence, critical damage. Note that it is possible 2 critical damage stats are on the weapon at the same time. Vulnerable damage and damage to close or crowd-controlled enemies. For amulet, use the control aspect. Stats priority is plus 3 devouring blaze, cooldown reduction, mana cost reduction, plus 3 all defensive skills, total armor, and damage reduction. For the first ring, use the elementalist aspect. Stats priority is vulnerable damage, critical chance, and lightning or crowd controlled or close enemy damage. One extra note is that lightning damage is multiplicative, while crowd controlled or close damage are additive. For the second ring, use the prodigy aspect. Stats priority is the same. I covered a couple of skills early in the video, and here are some extra key points. For basic skill, we don't use Arc Lash but Spark, because Spark adds 8% crit chance. It synergizes better with the crit damage synergy in the first section, and more crackling energy generating. For main DPS skill, 5 ranks to Chain Lightning and 5 ranks to Ball Lightning. Key passive Overflow Energy, so that the crackling energy leads to cooldown reduction, and Invigorating Conduit, so that crackling energy leads to mana regeneration. 3 points to lucky hit chance because it is important to trigger Ball Lightning and crackling energy. No need for the second passive for out, as there are infinite crackling energies on screen. The point can be put into improving DPS synergy. 3 points to Hoarfrost for another 18% burst damage boost. No points in Flame Shield. I rely on boots to have it. If your boots don't have it, refund 1 point from Hoarfrost and add it to the Flame Shield. For Paragon Board, use a Control Glyph for the first Glyph socket. Then go to the Burning Board, use the Destruction Glyph for crit damage increase. Then go left to the Frigid Fate Board, use the Tactician Glyph to double rare node gain that gives 40% vulnerable damage, and get all other vulnerable damage nodes. Then go down to the Enchantment Board, only to unlock areas for a new Glyph socket, and use the Exploit to further improve vulnerable damage. When reaching level 90, I will go right from the Burning Board to unlock the Static Surge, which synergizes with the unique chest Raiment for more mana regeneration. I really like this build and it gives me so much fun. Give the Thor Lightning build a try and have a wonderful time and day. Thank you for watching and see you next time.